Hi, we are here with our video blog interview for We Go There with Nikki Bergen.
Hi.
The Belle Method right here. So Nikki's the creator, mastermind behind the Belle Method and the Bump Method, which we're going to talk a lot about today. She is a Pilates trainer, master, mama, expecting number 2 in
I'm 27 weeks.
27 weeks, 35 weeks. And also a pelvic health expert. So we're so excited to have you. I'm so excited because I also follow Nikki on Instagram. She has amazing videos and tutorials. And I'm about to have this baby very, very soon. So I need all of the tips and tricks on what we can be doing.
We got you. Don't worry.
Okay, so talk about the bump method and how it assists with during your labor, before and after, and all the things. All the things. Yeah.
So really the goal is to be empowering for women. So we want women to fear less about birth, and it can be very scary, as you and I both know. But we want women to really connect with their deep core, their pelvic floor, and feel strong and confident in their bodies, which is what the methodology is all about. So in the classes, both private, online, and in group classes, we teach women how to connect their diaphragm and their pelvic floor and really connect with their deep core system to minimize injury during pregnancy and to have an easier postpartum recovery.
Right.
So that's what we're all about. We want to make things as easy as possible for you.
Amazing. Dream. Just a dream labor, right? Okay, so for me, like I have diastasis, however you want to say it. And I have an umbilical hernia.
Yep.
I had the diastasis with Piper as well. So I'm always, and I love to work out. Like I want to work out throughout pregnancy. And what are the things, like talk about diastasis and the things you can do, not do, all of that good stuff.
There's a lot of fear around this word diastasis or diastasis recti. Essentially, I want everyone to know this happens in 100% of all pregnancies by the 3rd trimester. And you and I are both in our 3rd trimester. So it's a functional thing. Your abdominals have to stretch and separate to make room for that baby. Like it's got to go somewhere, right? So what it is essentially is we've got this connective tissue. It's called your linea alba. It's the middle of your 6-pack muscle. That connective tissue has to thin and separate to make room for the baby.
Right.
We want that to happen, but we don't want it to happen too much.
Okay.
So diastasis recti is going to happen. We just want to control as best we can how much stretching and thinning of that tissue happens.
Right.
And we do that through managing intra-abdominal pressure.
Okay.
So I want to give you guys an example of my own diastasis or diastasis. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when I'm not connecting with my breath, and you're going to see a cone. It's kind of cool.
Yes.
Freaky.
Yes.
And then I'm going to show you what it looks like when I am connecting. Okay.
Amazing.
I'm going to get everybody to show me with my shirt up here for a second. Okay. So basically, an example would be pressure. So again, I'm 27 weeks now. I'm going to roll this puppy down. All right. So we're here. If I just lean back, I want you to notice the middle here.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys can see. If I don't breathe, if I just kind of hold my breath and I lean back, you guys are going to see there's like a cone. Yeah. So what we want to do instead is teach you, and this is what the bump method teaches you, to really connect with your deep core and minimize that pressure.
Right.
So I do that by inhaling, expanding. And on my exhale, I'm going to gently lift my pelvic floor, wrap my core, and then go back, and you're not going to feel or see as much of that cone. So I'm going to do it one more time.
That's amazing.
So if I shift back, you see that?
Yeah.
Versus, and go back.
And so can everyone do that? Because you're obviously uber fit and incredible.
That's what we teach people.
But like that's the idea, is learning that. And what stage of your pregnancy do you want to start to do those exercises to prepare and help minimize the coning? Right away.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm behind.
It's okay. So we want to
just 35 weeks behind.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, so we want to, and I get this question all the time. What exercises are diastasis or DR safe?
Yeah.
It's the number one question I get in DMs every day, emails or whatever. And the answer is, do you see any of the 4 Ps? So it's basically, do you have any pain in the move?
Right.
Do you feel any pressure down on your pelvic floor or out? Do you see any popping? That was popping, what you just saw.
Right.
Or are you peeing your pants? Okay.
That's a clear one.
Those are the 4
We
Ps.
all know what that feels
And that's
like.
good for postpartum too. Like, how do you know if you're ready to progress to a harder exercise? If you have any of those 4 Ps, that's a sign you need to scale back a little bit.
And you can improve that by doing this breathing then. So if you're doing an exercise and you're seeing the popping, like I have a very big pop, you can try and fix that with this type of
Yeah,
breathing.
I mean, there are a variety of strategies and techniques, but the breath is the first thing we teach all students because it's such a foundational part of everything.
Amazing. Yeah.
And then, of course, there's different choreography and there's different, postural work that we work on. But the breath is like, if you're not breathing, you're not going to get, the choreography isn't going to work unless you're breathing correctly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And what can we do also with labor, like to make that experience? Like you spoke about some of the things that and kind of techniques that you teach through the bump method. How can that help with our labor experience?
Yeah. So I did bring a birthing ball.
Love it.
Let's get the birthing ball. It's called a peanut ball, actually. So ta-da! It looks like a peanut. So birthing balls are typically, you think of them as the big round, like regular stability ball.
Yeah.
These are great because they're specific to things like birth. So a couple of things that I like to tell people regarding their birth position. So first of all, when you do that breath, when you strengthen your deep core, so I'm not going to get into an anatomy lesson here, but one part of your deep core is called your transversus abdominis. And you really want to learn how to connect with that muscle because that muscle will help you when you're pushing.
Got it.
So all of that breath that you just saw me do, and we're going to practice later,
Yes.
is going to help you with your pushing. Now, positioning wise, there are some things I want to give you, 3 tips I want to give women who are watching at home, who are pregnant, who are sort of like, I want all the tips. Give me all the tips.
Yes.
So the first one is, if possible, try to avoid being on your back in what we call lithotomy position, which is when your legs are in stirrups. Okay.
Which is what you'd picture most labor experiences to be.
It's very, very common. And it's easy for the healthcare provider to see what's going on, but they can still see what's going on. All you need to do is roll onto your side. And you can do this with or without an epidural. So something everybody can benefit from. So what I'm going to have you do, Lexi, is give everybody a shot.
Amazing.
Come onto your side if you don't mind, just lying on your side. Yep. And essentially what you would do here, and it should feel comfortable, just let your head relax. And then what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and put this between her knees. And so all of a sudden here, she's got this peanut ball and she can actually give birth in this position. Okay?
With the peanut.
With a peanut. So if you bring your knees up a little higher, so bring both of your knees in. Yeah. So you're kind of now, and if I just do a little bit of a move there, now your pelvic floor, and you guys can't see, but trust me, it's more open.
It feels open.
It feels more open.
Trust
And
me.
so this is a great position, and actually if I remove it so you guys can see, this is an open pelvic floor, and her sacrum and her tailbone can move freely. In contrast, if you were to lie on your back, just for now the weight of the baby is pushing on her tailbone.
Right.
Her tailbone can't move so freely, and her pelvic floor is actually 30% less open than if she was lying on her side.
Makes sense.
So you're going to have less pelvic floor trauma, less perineal tearing if you are on your side than if you're on your back. So number one tip. Okay.
Amazing.
Good? Okay.
Yes, that's great.
I'm gonna put this guy to the side now. The other 2 tips as it relates to birth would be something called open glottis pushing. There's research to back this up. What it means is basically don't hold your breath. So the glottis is something in the back of your throat. When you are pushing, we don't want you to do purple pushing.
Right. This is like shocking to me because everyone who ever has watched any type of movie or thinks about and how they describe pushing is push like you're pooping, and that's the most effective. But in that, you would think it would be like everything's tense, everything's squeezed in.
Yeah, and you are definitely bearing down, but if you hold your breath like that, it's called like a deep valsalva. You might get the baby out a little bit faster, so in some cases maybe you need to do that, but you are going to cause more downward pressure, and that can lead to more injuries like prolapse. So especially if you're purple pushing for hours, this is where women typically have more issues postpartum with their recovery, with their pelvic floor.
Yeah.
So basically just when you push, you're still pushing, but you want to keep your mouth open.
Amazing. And so that breathing is just to talk about with the pelvic floor and how you're actually supposed to be breathing versus what you think in that inhale, release type system.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about that? Because
Totally.
I feel like it goes hand in hand.
It can be a little confusing.
Yes,
For sure.
yes.
So essentially, when you are inhaling, this is counterintuitive because we often think inhale, right? When you inhale, you're actually opening your pelvic floor. So I want everyone to think inhale equals expand.
Right.
Inhale, the door is opening. So when you inhale, your diaphragm automatically goes down. That's like a plunger for your pelvic floor. So it's actually helping your pelvic floor open and expand. So inhale, open the door. And then when you're actually in labor and pushing, you want to exhale at the end of your inhale. So you want to think inhale, open the door. Exhale, push that baby out the open door.
As easy as that.
Exactly.
And you have your beautiful little baby.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, okay, so can we do some exercises?
Yeah, I would love to. Let's do it. So let's start with a move that I think might be helpful for people at home. Let's just talk about the breathing.
Yes.
Okay. So with your breath, we want to make sure that, and we did this prior to shooting this, and I was like, no, girl.
Yes,
Don't
exactly.
shoot. So
like,
what? Yeah, exactly. So that's what, and this is so common. So I'm gonna get you to turn sideways just for a second. Okay. Even maybe a little bit more for everybody to see. Perfect. So when you inhale, a lot of people, I mean, you've got a lot going on. You're running a big business. Your shoulders are often, so
they're like basically up here all the time.
Okay. So she needs a massage.
Yeah.
B,
definitely.
what I'm gonna do, and this is great if you have a partner at home that can help you with this. Put your hands right, think of where the bra strap comes around. So I'm just putting my hands right here.
Yeah.
And now I'd like you to inhale into my hands. Okay, yeah, and now don't try so hard. Okay. She's like, I am a super achiever. Okay. Just a little less.
Into the hands.
Yeah, so just think of allowing your rib cage to expand. So inhale, expand, and exhale, let the ribs go down. And it's tricky now, keep in mind too, that at 35 weeks pregnant, the mobility that you have here is restricted. If you do this, in like 2 months from now, it's gonna be a lot easier because you won't have that baby.
Right. That's just a small little thing.
No, minor detail. But the point is we want her to get more mobility, more movement into her ribs. And now let's just kind of have you continue. I'm gonna sneak back here.
Okay.
When you inhale, try to imagine your belly gently expanding. So don't push it out, just let it go. So inhale, let it go. And now on your exhale, you're gonna think of lifting and hugging that baby in. Yes, beautiful. Inhale, we let go, we let the ribs open. Notice the shoulders are not moving. And then exhale, it gently draws. Beautiful. And you're kind of giving baby a gentle hug.
Right.
Okay, it's not gonna hurt the baby. People kind of get freaked out sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, oh my goodness.
Okay, and then what we want to do is now coordinate pelvic floor with that. So inhale, let go, let your pelvic floor release. And then exhale, you're gently kind of lifting and connecting.
And Nikki told me before, don't squeeze your bum because I squeeze my bum.
Yes, and try to breathe out through your mouth.
Oh, right.
So I know, it's just like inhale, it's a lot to think about. You're doing great. And now exhale gently out through the mouth. Good. Yes. So that's your core breathing. Now let's incorporate that core breath into an exercise.
Yes.
I'm gonna have you come onto your hands and knees.
Okay.
That's great. Awesome. All right, and so now, beautiful, hands are directly under the armpits. So we're gonna keep this nice neutral spine, okay? So keep your spine exactly like that. That's great. Inhale, can you allow your belly to just expand? Yeah. And on your exhale, let's think of lifting gently right through the low belly. Find that transversus. Now let's lift one hand an inch into the air. Just one hand, perfect. And that's a lot of core. It doesn't look like it, but it is. Inhale, lower your hand, release. We call this around the world. And now exhale, let's wrap the core again. Good, and try lifting the opposite hand. Nice, and she's trying to kind of balance that imaginary drink on her lower back, not spill it. Inhale, lower, release. And now let's actually do this hand and this knee. So we're gonna do a little more challenge. Yes, good. You're doing awesome. She just
It's a lot of thinking and coordinating, and I'm not any of those coordinated types things. So, like, breathe, suck, like, all of the things.
Think wrap. Try not to think of
wrap.
suck. Yeah, so inhale, release. And then think of wrapping that core, hug that baby, and now do this hand and that knee. So these are some moves that you can practice. It's a really important thing to note. you're doing something called blow before you go, which means you're gonna exhale, wrap the core before you lift your arms and legs in the air.
Blow before you go. Got it.
It's a great, I want a t-shirt that says that.
Me too. You need to make those.
We'll talk
I love it.
Okay, so there's that. And so, okay, you come out of there. There
Okay.
you go. You're like, so this is just a little demo, but I want to clarify just in terms of pelvic floor.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
a lot of us have tension in the pelvic floor, and we think Kegels is the name of the game all the time.
Yes, this is such a good lesson
Yeah.
to learn.
So we don't always, Kegels are not always appropriate. So Kegels essentially is the term for lifting your pelvic floor, contracting those muscles. We want to make sure that we know how to release, just like a bicep curl. Can you release and contract? Some of us walk around with our Kegels permanently contracted like this.
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been diagnosed by a pelvic floor
yes,
physio.
exactly.
Which is why it's so important for anyone who's pregnant or planning to get pregnant or postpartum to see a pelvic floor physio for an internal assessment of your muscles.
Right.
Right. If you have knots in your shoulders, you might have knots in your pelvic floor.
Right.
So
and you say it's a power. they use the acronym POWER
Perfect.
to kind of diagnose, right?
Perfect. Yes.
Perfect.
So
POWER perfect. Yes. Perfect. Got it.
So perfect is a quick acronym. So basically, these are things that a pelvic floor physio would be testing when they're giving you a vaginal internal exam.
Right.
Good times. So sometimes it's a rectal exam too. Just a heads up. Okay.
That is a very good heads up.
Yes. Okay.
It's up to know.
Yes. So P would be power. So if this is your Kegel, can you contract and then release? Okay, that's P. E would be endurance. Can you contract and then hold that contraction for a period of time? R is repetition. So can you contract, release, over and over again?
Is everyone doing this as she's saying it? Because I am. Like, can I?
Exactly. No, we're doing. F would be for fast. So PERF. So can you, for instance, can you turn it on quickly and then release it? This is useful when you are sneezing,
Right.
coughing,
Yes.
all these things.
The worst.
And then
You feel a sneeze coming, you're like, no.
yeah, especially
Like,
when you're
away.
35
Yeah,
weeks pregnant with your
exactly.
second kid. And then the last would be ECT. So I call that exact coordinated timing. So again, back to the sneeze.
Right.
Do you pop quiz? Do you want to engage your pelvic floor while you sneeze or before you sneeze?
Before.
Before, yes, before. So the timing is important. Engage just to anticipate that sneeze.
Right.
Or in some cases, anticipate you're picking up your baby out of the crib. Engage your core pelvic floor before you do that to minimize back injury or pain. Right? So anticipating is key.
Amazing. So for someone like myself who is the opposite, it's like when I got diagnosed, it was like stop Kegeling, don't Kegel again.
Yep.
And needs more of that release. What is an exercise that I could do that will help
Totally.
with that?
There are many,
Yeah.
but something very simple that I think everybody can do at home, and this is where we'll probably wrap up. I think we have a stool here.
Yes.
So you can do this. We have this super cute stool.
Amazing.
But,
so matches you.
It totally does, actually. That was not on purpose. But if you have a staircase at home, or if you have a yoga block or two stacked on top of each other, or maybe a stack of books,
Right.
you can do all that. And I'm just gonna have you sit right there, and we're gonna do a very deep squat. In yoga, we call this garland pose.
And sounds so much prettier than it looks. The garland.
Yes, it does. It does sound pretty. Bring your knees a little bit further in. Yeah, and so you guys can't really see, but what I'm looking for is to make sure that Lexi's back is straight and that she's not rounding. And
Right.
you're doing a beautiful job. Okay? And so essentially you're just gonna hang here. And do you find how it's really hard to do a Kegel in this position?
Yeah, it's hard. Which is what we want.
We want you to
can't
think
do it.
about releasing. So it's the blossom breath.
Right.
That feeling of inhale, allow everything to let go. And so literally this is one thing that you can do at home right away if you have tension in your pelvic floor. Or if you're not sure, go get seen by a pelvic floor physio. You can even just Google signs you have tension in your pelvic floor, constipation, pelvic pain, pain with sex. Super common. All these things can be signs you have tension in your pelvic floor.
Amazing. So, and how long would I hold this for?
Good question. I generally like to say if you're like, you feel that tension, maybe it was like an 8 out of 10.
Right.
Hang here for a minute or two until it goes down to like a 6.
Amazing. So we're gonna hang here. But want to thank Nikki for coming in, and you can check out at the Belle Method on Instagram or online. Nikki has so much content online as well. Videos, tutorials, nutrition that take you everything from preconception through postpartum and beyond. So check it out. And thank you for coming.
Oh, you're awesome. Thank you for having me. And I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, ditto. We're gonna set up a play date.
Love it.
Okay, thank you.